This is Team USA's Zach Parise, and right now, he just stunned an entire nation with a last-minute goal to force the 2010 gold medal game into overtime. With the pressure and attention that comes with a Canada versus USA matchup on the Olympic stage, whoever can be the overtime hero will forever cement themselves in hockey history. Both teams have weapons that can end this game, but some players are destined to live up to the moment. It's February 28th, 2010. Team Canada versus Team USA in the Vancouver Winter Olympics with the gold medal on the line. This is without a doubt one of the most anticipated and watched games in the history of the sport. But in order to get to this moment, both of these teams took an unexpected path. Coming into this Olympic tournament, Team Canada had an enormous amount of pressure and expectations. Despite falling well short of their goal in 2006 by finishing 7th in the tournament, a stacked roster filled with future and current Hall of Famers meant that Team Canada was expected to win gold on home soil. As for Team USA, expectations weren't quite the same. Gold was obviously still the goal, but considering they entered the tournament with the youngest average age of 27 years and 2 months, they were picked to finish middle of the pack without even placing for a medal. Team USA took exception to that by making a statement and sweeping the prelims that included a big 5-3 win over Team Canada. That game saw Ryan Miller stop 42 of 45 shots and saw Canada make a goaltending change midway by replacing Martin Brodeur with Roberto Luongo in net. Canada's preliminary results meant that the team had to play an extra playoff game. Team Canada beat Germany 8-2, which literally saw Shea Weber put the puck through a net to score a goal, and then Canada proceeded to beat Russia 7-3 before squeaking out a tough 3-2 win over Slovakia to go to the final. Meanwhile, the States handled business rather easily by beating Switzerland and Finland while outscoring their opponents 8-1 in the process. That brings us to this game here. Team Canada versus Team USA for the gold medal in Vancouver. This was perhaps the most anticipated game in the history of the sport. With over 27 million people tuning into this game, this would be the most watched hockey game in the last 30 years. With that came enormous pressure, and every Canadian player felt it too. But to add on to it, the Vancouver 2010 Olympic Winter Games had been a resounding success for Canada with 27 total medals. That is the most in Canadian history for a Winter Games. With 13 of those 27 medals being gold, a Canadian victory in this game would give them the most ever by a Winter Games host. That was enough for Canada to come out flying out of the gate, and they had one mission early on: establish their forecheck and hit everything in sight. And one player in particular leading by example was Mike Richards. With Team USA defenders trying to evade his pressure, a tenacious effort combined with great support from a 21-year-old Jonathan Toews forces a remarkable steal by Richards and creates a golden opportunity with Canada to get on the board first.
Here's a mistake and a throw, puck, Mike Richards scores! A taser from Jonathan Toews, his first Olympic goal.
That was a dream start for Canada on home ice, and even though both teams traded chances afterwards in the first, Canada would lead 1-0 heading into the second. As the intensity ramped up, the game opened up for both teams to create off the rush. Looking to counter to add on to their lead, Patrick Marleau, Ryan Getzlaf, and Corey Perry head on the attack. As Team USA's Ryan Malone loses sight of his check and Corey Perry, Perry looks to take advantage of the open space.
Getzlaf heading north, centering it loose, Perry scores! Corey Perry's fourth of the tournament, 2-0 Team Canada.
Although Canada's up 2-0 halfway through this game, this match felt far from over. And as the States pressed with a couple of close calls that were fought off by Luongo and Canada, Team USA's Ryan Kesler kicks it out to a 20-year-old Patrick Kane, and he does what he does best.
Now Kane, his shot scores! It got through, and the United States are on the board.
Just 5 minutes after Canada's second goal, Team USA responded right back with a Ryan Kesler tip-in to just squeak by Roberto Luongo. With the lead now cut to 1, both teams pressed, with the next goal being monumental to the flow of the game. However, in the third period, Canada carried most of the play, getting phenomenal chances to restore their 2-goal lead, but they just couldn't beat the post or a dialed-in Ryan Miller. With time draining on the clock, Team USA couldn't generate a lot of chances, but on the bench, their belief certainly didn't waver. With the goalie pulled and Team USA taking their time out, two notables on the ice in this moment for Team USA is one of the tournament's leading scorer in Zach Parise and a young Patrick Kane, who despite only having 3 points in this tournament, just seems like a player who's made to excel in these big types of moments. With just under 30 seconds left, Team USA is going to swing this puck down low to Joe Pavelski, who wants to funnel this to the net as quickly as possible. With Team Canada's Ryan Getzlaf draped all over him, good defensive play actually deflects this puck to none other than Patrick Kane. With both Zach Parise and captain Jamie Langenbrunner crashing the net, Team USA does the unthinkable.
Trying to center, Patrick Kane off his skate, they score! Zach Parise, game tied!
With 25 seconds on the clock, Team USA ties the game off the stick of Zach Parise. All of Canada feels sick to their stomach and has to endure one of the most anxious intermissions in the history of the sport. Now in the Olympics, overtime in the gold medal game is a 20-minute period of 4-on-4 hockey. If no one scores, the game is decided by the dreaded and dramatic shootout. With Canada looking for any spark, one of the forward pairs that coach Mike Babcock leans on heavy is the pair of Jarome Iginla and Sidney Crosby. Up until this point, both of these players have had a ton of success. Jarome Iginla had previously won a gold medal at Salt Lake City in 2002, and he'd been the league's premier power forward for years. Sidney Crosby, on the other hand, had already won the Hart, the Art Ross, a Ted Lindsay, and a Stanley Cup. At 22, he's widely regarded as the best hockey player in the world, but the only thing missing for him is an Olympic gold medal. And despite having a decent tournament so far, Crosby is still looking for that signature moment. Early in the OT, Crosby and Iginla's line had the best chance, but Miller once again stood tall. By the way Crosby was calling for the puck here, you could tell he was eager to want the game on his stick. And after a Scott Niedermayer giveaway nearly gave every Canadian a heart attack, Canada reloads with Sidney Crosby gearing up for the rush. Trying desperately to play hero, Crosby attempts to go 1-on-4 to break through the U.S. defense, and the bobbled puck slides over to Ryan Miller. He has a choice: cover the puck or steer it into the corner. He opts to do the latter, and Crosby is first to the puck, with Jarome Iginla slipping down low for the cycle option. With Crosby making his way up the boards, he's going to fumble the puck, and it gets temporarily stuck in referee Bill McCreary's skates. With a loose puck just dangling along the wall and Brian Rafalski closing in on Crosby, Crosby throws a quick poke check to get this puck down low to Jarome Iginla. And before anyone else, the greatest player on the planet recognizes an opening and screams at Iginla for the puck. As he's falling down, Jarome Iginla makes one of the best heads-up passes to find an open Sidney Crosby. Now, all that's left to do is beat one of the hottest goaltenders on the planet on a tough angle. Now, historically, Sidney Crosby has had Ryan Miller's number. There was his famous shootout goal in the first ever Winter Classic. There was this goal earlier in the regular season of that year where Crosby beat him clean. And then there was this preliminary game where Crosby tipped one home. One common denominator in all these goals: Sidney Crosby beat Ryan Miller 5-hole. Not to mention, in the midst of being in a Rocket Richard season, Crosby has been targeting one area in particular to score more goals: the 5-hole. So, after one of the most entertaining, intense, and dramatic games we've ever seen, the next goal is bound to create hockey history. One team is looking to complete a Cinderella underdog story, while the other looks to live up to the enormous pressure and expectations of being a Canadian hockey player in the Olympics. All the funny bounces and close calls have led to this moment here, with a 22-year-old Sidney Crosby having the game on his stick against one of the hottest goaltenders in the world. You're about to witness hockey history.
Up with it again. He's on the ice with Iginla. Iginla scores!